was a daunting task to design and construct a replacement hospital. You don't get many opportunities to do that, and you want to make sure you do it right. And so we wanted to make sure that we had the absolute best team in place to help deliver that result.
Their existing facility was very outdated, built in the 1950s, and just served a different type of patient, more of an inpatient focus. Now with the diagnostic equipment and imaging equipment and elective surgeries, it's just so much more of an outpatient model for healthcare, especially in critical access hospitals these days, and Lincoln was no exception to that.
So we have, on average, 12 patients in beds at midnight compared to over 100 back in the 1950s. But we see 60,000 outpatients. And so we started thinking about what we need to do to serve that patient going forward. This building, which is 118,000 square feet, mainly on the first floor to serve the outpatients, and then on a partial second floor we've got 25 beds for those patients that we have. And again, what this hospital gives the community is access to services they didn't have before in an environment that we could not have done in the old location.
Very patient friendly. Everything from radiology, diagnostics, universal testing, sleep lab, laboratory work, all of that on the first floor, including a brand new rehab component for cardiac rehab patients and physical therapy patients.
Things like we now have a fixed MRI, which we didn't have in the old location. We now have a warm water therapy pool, which we did not have in the old location. We now have more private, larger, more information technology friendly treatment rooms that we have now that we did not have in the old location. Really in a modern equipped, modern designed facility. I knew we had the right team in place when we picked the players like O'Shea. As the project progressed, I became more and more and more confident that we had the right team in place. Not that we didn't have our challenges. We did with a building this size and this complicated.
How did we maintain schedule with as much rain as we received? I believe there was 3 months of record rainfall throughout the 22 months.
And the O'Shea team very impressively managed through that bad weather and able to stay on schedule. So we hit our March deadline like we wanted to.
One of the unique things O'Shea did to kind of keep us on schedule was we used kind of a series of soil modifications that allowed us to not necessarily get ahead of Mother Nature, but certainly neutralize her power a little bit.
But they managed to overcome steep odds to get that deadline met.
So we partnered with the Logan Mason Rehabilitation Clinic, and as you know, they provide services for mental rehabilitation services for their patients. It was a unique opportunity in that they had a former wood shop in their facility. We obviously needed wood blocking in walls to screw things in, like pictures and toilet accessories, grab bars, mirrors, handrail, all the things you kind of take for granted that hang on a wall in a hospital. Behind the drywall needs to have something to grab to so that it doesn't pull out when a patient needs to use it. They built approximately 5,000 feet of blocking for the project to be used in the walls, and it was just a great way for their patients to put their hands in the hospital that they use every day.
There was no pushback in terms of having O'Shea come into a town like Lincoln and build the hospital, because they work so well with the local businesses.
And so it was very important to be very transparent with the community. We returned well over $1 million in economic stimulus just by buying local materials, whether it was ready-mix concrete or lumber or screws and fasteners.
You know, I live here as well as work here, and so I interact with a lot of folks outside of work. And the universal common theme has been that it's just an amazing building. I hope I never use it, but it is an amazing building, and I'm glad it's here for not only me, but for my kids and maybe my grandkids. So it's been overwhelmingly positive so far. But the way they approached it, the way they kept me informed, the way they kept the spirits alive when sometimes we'd stub our toe was important.
And I think one of the things that was very successful for our team up there is we became a cohesive team. In short, we became friends. And that really helped. It kind of broke down a lot of barriers between architects and subcontractors that typically exist in our industry.
And now, looking backwards, I'm absolutely convinced that we would not have had the success that we had, or the project that we have right now, or the end result that we have, without O'Shea at the table.